are many types of monsters in this world. Monsters who will not show themselves and who cause trouble. Monsters who abduct children. Monsters who devour dreams. Monsters who suck blood. And monsters who always tell lies. Lying monsters are a real nuisance. They are much more cunning than other monsters.
They pose as humans, even though they have no understanding of the human heart. They eat, even though they've never experienced hunger. They study, even though they have no interest in academics. They seek friendship, even though they do not know how to love. If I were to encounter such a monster, I would likely be eaten by it. Because in truth, I am that monster.
Well, that was a really good summary of the video we'll be doing right now. For those who don't know, that was Elle from Death Note and his amazing speech about monsters. And we're gonna do something like that right now. We're gonna talk about monsters. In one corner we have Melvina from the webcomic Melvinas Therapy, made by A. Raisin. And in the next we have Johann from the anime Monster by Naoki Urasawa. Both of those are the principal villains and antagonists of their respective series. Both of them are really interesting, really complex, and really, how do I say it, philosophical in their own respective ways. Well, we're starting with Melvina. From the title, Melvinas Therapy, I think you can safely figure it out that she's actually a psychologist. But if you were to go to her office, you will, how do I say it, find yourself in the same situation as the first character in the series to be found. Just look at his words. In order for therapy to work, you must find a psychologist with whom you connect. I found one. I connected in a way I had never imagined. More and more it felt as though she were inside me, but I was wrong. I should have never visited her. I should have never opened to her, because while she pulled me from the ashes of my life, little by little, she was dragging me to hell. So now you figured out that Melvina is a villain, but in a very characteristic way. She doesn't hurt you. She helps you, but in from this helping, she actually makes you worse. It's a very mano a mano situation. Through the story, we learn even the reason why she's a psychologist. And why she does such an interesting bad thing with humans. She wants to be immortal and doesn't want to be infected with all the struggles we face every day, like anxiety, loneliness, fear, and many internal problems. Because physically, she's a god. She quite saved that, kinda. Well, this is why she basically eats our fears. That is a good thing? No, because without that, we sink even deeper in hell, and that's a really bad thing to do. But now I hear you ask, how do you defeat such an OP character? A character that can literally read your mind the first moment you enter his door. Well, now I present you Johann, the main antagonist from the anime Monster. He's basically the monster of the series. Ironic. Johann isn't as supernatural as Melvina. He was basically created from an experiment. I know, it sounds weird, but literally, there were 50 men and 40 women. I don't know how to explain it. Sorry, I was joking, obviously. The creator of the experiment was Franz Bonaparte. He was a psychologist, psychiatrist, neurosurgeon, and a children's book writer illustrator. He was an evil, quiet man who enjoyed studying the human psyche. In 1970, at the age of 40, he started the eugenics experiment to create a perfect child. Men and women from around the country were selected based on genetic attributes. Two subjects who were selected for a pairing were Viera Serna and Bonaparte's younger half-brother, a career soldier in Czechoslovakia. The two were set up at a cafe in Prague around 1972 or 73 and fell in love. After she was pregnant, the man confessed the details of the experiment to her, and the two tried to run away together. But Bonaparte foresaw that occurrence, and they were caught in the act. The man was executed, and the woman was abducted. Vienna was the mother of Johann and his twin sister Nina. Like I said earlier, Johann does not have supernatural powers, but is very similar to Melvina. He's a very good manipulator, intellectual person, and understands people on a level similar to Melvina. From the moment he was born, he was hunted for his special talent that he had apparently discovered very soon, very early in his life. He knows he's a monster, so that's why he kills a lot of people in this series. His first murder being literally a massacre between children and adults at at an orphanage made to scar children for life. It's a long story, but you kinda get the idea. Johann literally understood what he was born to do, and he did it. He manipulated and killed a lot of people. Now, how do those two characters met? Melvina and Johann. Well, easy. Melvina is a psychologist who is looking for people to, well, for people fears to consume, and Johann is looking to find his identity. He doesn't have one, actually. Now, let's say that Johann enters the door to Melvina's office, and they first meet each other's eyes. They, in that moment, in that moment, when they see each other, they both understand in how much danger they are and what the other one is capable of. But now it's up to Johann. Will he stay or will he go? Well, it's Johann. It's chaotic. As much as he is organized, he's a very chaotic person. So he chooses to stay. He enters and the discussion begins. Melvina tries to pull out the demon hidden in Johann, and Johann tries to understand just what Melvina is. Well, now things start to get interesting. The discussion begins. A discussion between a monster and a literal one. They aren't trying to fight, actually. They are they're just trying to understand each other. It's it's a very complicated manipulation scheme because they both met each other's nemesis. Johann met the only person who can truly understand what is going on inside him, and Melvina meets the final monster, the final pain, the fear of all fears, and the darkest of the dark. They both can't seem to understand each other in the first round and start to talk each other down. I don't know where this is going next because the more you think about it, it kind of gets nowhere. So yeah, I made this video without thinking of a conclusion. I'm sorry guys, but it's literally yin and yang. So yeah, I'll let you guys figure it out in the comments. But if you were to ask me, I would think that the winner of this competition is, of course,